Let's go live. We're live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Let me go make this public real quickly. Let me make it public. Let me make it public. Oh, let's go in and make it public. Make it public. Make it public. Yes. Tuesdays with Terrence. Let me make it public now. It's public. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from Dominica, like I am, you call me Mr. Badwil. And if you're from my village of Point Michel, La Pointe, you call me Luku Boy. That stands for little boy. The Commonwealth of Dominica, Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. As we're waiting for people to come into the live, I just want to say welcome to everybody. I'm so excited tonight. I am really excited tonight for my show. If you were going to miss any show in the past 3 years, you should have missed the last 3 years. All right. You should have missed last week because I was my own guest talking about infinite banking and income protection, debt elimination, legacy creation, all that stuff. So welcome to the show. Is anybody on? Let me take a quick look so I can give a quick shout out to see who's on so far. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Welcome to those of you who are tuning in so far. Welcome to the show. I just heard Marcella John Lewis. Oh, you're in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Oh, I'm glad you won tonight because we got a superstar on from your state. All right, from your state. So you're going to love it. He's doing big things just like your younger son is. And I'm so excited. Welcome, folks. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. As we begin, I'll do our preliminaries. I usually play a song or two, to get people into the mood. But Sandra Charles, welcome. And all those who are tuning in, you all better start telling people, all right? As people are starting to come in, I can see them coming into the live. So listen, folks, tonight, I don't want to spend too much time on preliminaries because I got a superstar. I got a superstar on the show tonight. And I'm telling you, he's articulate, he's handsome, he's killing it, he's all of those things, but I can't wait to bring him on. So just before we do that, I usually play a song or two to get people in the mood. You know me, you guys know I'm an old head. I go into my reggae. One of the great singers, Jamaican singers, is Garnet Silk, right? It says, behold, right? Behold, I got a young king coming up. Yes.
Look to the east.
Look to the east. I'm looking down south. Behold.
Christ is king in character. Christian is king in character. Christ is king in character. Christian is king in character. One low brother man say Rasta. Who goes? It must be Jaja.
Yes.
Goodness, I don't have to
Big tune, a big tune, man. Yes. All right. I'm not DJing. This is a financial services show. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. For all of you tuning in so far, I want to say welcome to you. I'm going to give everybody a shout out a little later. I don't want to spend too much time on preliminaries, but as you know, just before we start, let me just check markets and see what the markets did. For those of you, who are into securities, I'm the safe money guy. I used to do that a long time ago. I was a financial advisor, working for big companies like Sun Life of Canada and Vantage Securities and, all those different companies, doing securities and mutual funds and all that stuff. I'm the safe money guy now. Guess what? The Dow Jones took a beating today. Somebody got indicted last night in Georgia, right? Well, Georgia, you know what? Last night you were talking about Georgia. Well, I brought someone who's more important in Georgia, and they're on tonight. All right. So let's see. The Dow Jones was down 361.24. So you guys lost a bunch of money. Your 401ks took a beating today. The NASDAQ was down 157.28. So that's tech stocks. So that means I got a good friend who got a lot of her 401k in tech stocks. So she took a beating today. And the S&P was down 51.86. But guess what? And said CNBC says stock futures are little change as Wall Street looks beyond. The thing about it is, you know what, folks? My clients don't worry about this. They don't worry about the markets because zero is the hero. They sleep like this and like that because they never, ever lose a penny. This show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. Man, I got a great guest tonight. I don't want to tell you too much about him yet, but let me just play our theme song as we start. As people are coming into the room, I want to say welcome to all those who are coming into the room. Welcome. Tell somebody about it tonight. For those of you watching, welcome, welcome. Alvin Varsa from Petersburg, Virginia, and all the others.
Just before we do that,
turn the volume down.
I want to say welcome to all those who are
coming in. Let's turn the volume down. Let's turn the volume down. For all those who are coming in, you know, I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to play our theme song as we start the show so we can go right into it. All right, so here we go. Let's play our theme song, sang to you by Miss Maynard Thomas, my baby sister, right there in where? Snellville, Georgia. Today's her anniversary. Happy 20th anniversary, Maynard. You and Warren, I wish you guys 150 more. Happy 20th anniversary to my baby sister. As she sings, you don't have to be a star to be on my show, but I got a star on tonight. Let's go. Here it is. Boom!
Family, come as you are with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? Send me your word, much more than you put in.
I don't need no superstars, but I got one tonight. Yes!
No superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich.
He's rich. Yes.
To be on my show. You don't have to have a million family to be on my show.
Boom! The song says you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have a million to be on my show. But I got a superstar tonight, folks. I am so freaking excited. You know why? Because this kid he's not a kid, he's a man, but he's a kid because he's the same age as my baby son. And they live in the same state, the same area, you know? And I want to tell you just a little bit about him just before we start. First of all, he's my business partner. Second of all, he's way smarter than me, and he's way better looking than me. You all know how vain I am. I think I'm the most best looking guy in the world. He's smarter than me. He's better looking than me. And guess what? He's killing it in the industry. The financial services arena, an American Classic Agency, he's killing it. And I'm so proud, guys, to bring on this superstar at my agency, American Classic Agency. So tonight, we're going to have a good time. Tell your friends. If you got kids, they need to watch this. If you got grandkids, they need to watch this because they got to be not like Mike. They got to be like Keon Edwards. Mr. Keon Edwards. As I bring him on, let me bring him on. Let me bring him on. There he is. Unmute your mic, young man. Unmute your mic.
How's it going, sir?
Hey, how you doing, young man?
Good.
Good. Hold on. A little more reggae for the people. A little more reggae. Here we go. Are you starving? Yes, I'm excited. Never. Yes, God, never leave us alone. Mr. Keon Edwards. Here comes the great part.
They're born with sight and lacking vision. Oh Lord, I pray for their salvation. Ready full, but they're starving.
Oh man.
Have a lot and
you heard that? They're born with sight but lacking vision. Mr. Keon Edwards, man, how you doing, young man?
Outstanding. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me on this amazing show, Tuesdays with Terrence. I'm excited, man. I'm
Man,
excited.
you excited? Man, I asked you this back in March. I said to you, yo, Keon, I want to get you on Tuesdays with Terrence. Remember, I was down there visiting my it was my son's birthday, and I was down there, and I called you up. We had gone to this little town. My boy owns a car place over there. We're looking for a car, and I went. We went over there, and I called you from there, and I said, "Man, we're heading to Buckhead," and you said, "I live right in Buckhead," and it was a Sunday. You came out and you met us at a Whole Foods. And I have pictures. I'll put it up tomorrow or later tonight after the show with you talking to my kids and a little video. I was so excited, man. But you know what, Keon, first of all, thank you for coming on tonight. I want to give you all the time. We're going to celebrate you tonight. I want these people to understand that the first thing I want to ask you, man, how young are you, man? I can't say how old. How young are you?
Good. First, I'll give it back to you, man. This is an incredible show. I'm honored to be on. But I just turned 23 in July last month.
When I met the kid, he was 22. The man. And I can't call him a kid. He's 23 years old. He's actually 1 year younger than my son because my son will be 24 in September. You are 23 years old. And you are killing it in our industry, man. First thing, tell us what part of Atlanta or Georgia, when people say Atlanta, right? I've learned that nobody's from Atlanta proper. Everybody's from around the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
But my sister-in-law is watching from Lawrenceville. I hope my kids are watching. They're down there in Snellville. And my sister, she's probably watching over there in Snellville. Today's an anniversary. She's probably celebrating. But the good thing is, you are from the greater Atlanta area. Specifically, what part, you have siblings. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, where you grew up, and so forth.
Yeah. So, that's good. Atlanta. Most people who don't know, they just say Atlanta, right?
I do. I don't know.
I grew up on the east side of Atlanta. That's pretty much your Decatur area, Glenwood area. Pretty much a lot of people that they're artists. They're from that side of Atlanta. You're more urban area, right? So I know as in DC, pretty much you guys have the number one town with the most black millionaires. Number two in the country is the east side of Atlanta. So that's the most black millionaire area in the whole entire country. So number one is,
I didn't know that.
I grew up on the east side of Atlanta, pretty much with teenage parents right now. I have I have three siblings. We're like 13 years plus apart. So these are babies. So they're all in elementary school. Neither of them hit middle school just yet. So I pretty much grew up the only child. So that's pretty much the start of everything right now. As you guys see, I'm in Midtown. So I'm in Midtown. A few months from now, I'll probably move to Buckhead, which is not too far from here as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm learning my parts of Atlanta. So you grew up, I believe, in the Lithonia area. Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, close to Lithonia. I graduated near Lithonia, in Lithonia, yeah.
Okay. So now that you are 22, now 23, happy belated birthday. Man, the first question that I want to ask you besides that, tell us if someone that, had to say Keon Edwards, because I've hyped you up on social media. I've told people about you. And the important thing is, I want you to tell us, who is Keon? What is Keon? What does Keon do? And what drives Keon?
Okay. Well, I could start off by pretty much the origin of the name, Keon. Means God is gracious. That's the meaning and the origin of the word Keon. And definitely, just myself. I'm pretty focused. I love experiences. I spent my whole life pretty much trying to chase experiences. I value time. I value people. I value God. and I value business. I know a lot of people like, oh, what are your hobbies? What are some of the things that you like? I love business. So I've been doing business since I was 17 years old. I went to Clark Atlanta University on a ROTC scholarship, on an Army ROTC scholarship. And from there, pretty much what interests me in that model was the structure, was the ability to pretty much work your way up. Um, I was pretty much, of course, I was going to be a general. That was going to be the main focus, and everything like that. And pretty much business caught my eye when I went to Clark Atlanta University and AUC. I had so many people around me that were so creative, and everybody was in this era of pretty much figuring out how to make money from their phones. And from that wave, pretty much we caught on to a wave before COVID, and we were able to capitalize on it very, very soon. The cryptocurrency market, the forex market, the online course market, promoting online, TikTok, Instagram, selling online. I mean, we've pretty much been able to do that. But the foundation of who I am, of course, I have to attach it, to God, number one, and number two is the purpose. Is to pretty much be able to help people through whatever I'm putting out there into the world, right? If I'm selling toothpicks, two things we're gonna know. We're gonna know we're gonna make a lot of money doing it, and number two is gonna help people. We're gonna make sure people understand how powerful that product is.
Wow, wow, man. It's so funny that you said that because I love your drive. You will find a way to get it done. I know right now you are in the financial service area, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. We don't wanna start right straight off from there. I First of all, I just want to say welcome to the people who are tuning in. Let's just give some shout outs to some people. I do see Keon, you have people watching from all over, man. Miss Delphina Lee Blinds, all the way in Ottawa, Canada, is watching tonight. I want to say hello to Mr. Alvin Vassar in Petersburg, Virginia. I want to say Marcella John Louise, my sister-in-law, all the way in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Sandra Charles. She said you got a beautiful voice. I said, I don't know if she's talking about your voice or Maina singing. Tabitha Green, your business partner, she's watching tonight. Mary Benjamin, all the way in the Commonwealth of Dominica. She's watching in Girardale area. Miss Peach Goodwill, she's living work, another business partner of yours here at ACA. She also lives in Petersburg, Virginia. And some other people are watching on other platforms. They may be watching on Instagram, but Twitter, they might be watching on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and I might not be able to see them. So those of you, if you put a comment in the chat, I'll be able to give you a shout out. If you don't do that, I won't be able to do that. So we want to say welcome to our special guest again, Mr. Keon Edwards. Keon, you started doing business from the time you were 17, and you were doing all right, I would say, right? While you were in school and so forth, you were doing okay, right?
Well, not in the beginning, of course. There's some learning curves that you have to go through. So my first 6 months of business, I probably made $500 in 6 months.
Did you get discouraged?
Um, I wouldn't say discouraged. You really can't get discouraged in spaces like that because the people that I was around, they were multimillionaires. I was around people that were like real multimillionaires. So I couldn't have it was impossible to get discouraged when that's the only thing that you can see. So I had I had a great experience around me to be able to expose myself to and say, like, no, I wasn't getting discouraged at all.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, you had some great mentors, people teaching you different parts of, using the internet to do business, doing your thing. But, this is a financial services show. And now you're in financial services, man. Welcome. I've been in the financial services in 1985 when I was a young banker in Boston, where I grew up. I went to middle school and high school in Boston. We had moved from the Caribbean and college there as well. But the important thing is that you are in financial services now, and I'm very proud of you. So, what is driving your success right now? Because people don't even really know what's driving your success. So, tell us about how you got into financial services and what is driving your success right now, please.
I was pretty much in a sales business model when I first got started. So everybody know pretty much when you're selling something, it's pretty much just ongoing. Of course, you build sales teams. So when I first started in 2018, From 2018 to 2021, we were able to build a sales team of at one time over 1,000 people, but we were able to put over 5,000 people in that sales team, traveling all across the country. We had teams in Nigeria, we had teams in Germany, we had teams all across the country as well. And most of these people were young, and pretty much when it got down to a certain point, that business model pretty much ran out, right? And there was a transition that needed to happen. And everybody has their turn back moment or their transition throughout business. And at some point, I was trying out different things. I've tried out all of the businesses, all the Airbnbs and the Turos, and I've done it all, right? And I ended up going to Chicago. I lived in Chicago for about 2 months at the time. And there was a guy in Chicago. He's like a year older than me. And he made like $2.3 million that year selling insurance. And he's only selling pretty much strictly whole life policies. And his target market is just teachers. Literally, that's it. It's just the teachers union. And he did about $2.3 million that year. So at that time, of course, I mean, there's nothing else to talk about. I had a place here in Atlanta as well. So I was living in Chicago, working, doing some work in Chicago, doing some sales work, but I had a place in Atlanta. So I ended up just stopped doing that, and I flew back to Atlanta, and I just started studying for my test for the insurance space. Like, it was nothing else to talk about. I pretty much started studying. In insurance, of course, he talked about it before. It just wasn't something that I was willing to listen to at the time. And sometimes that's okay, right? If he would have came to me about it before, I wasn't ready. At that point, I was ready to listen. I was ready to pretty much take what he was talking about. And I wasn't that type of person to take what he was talking about and then just listen to him. I'm the type of person where if you tell me something, I'm not just going to take what you're saying. I want to take what you're saying and I'm going to research it. And I'm going to do a lot of follow-up myself. And that's what I did. So I studied myself. I paid for my own exams. I've done my own thing myself to pretty much push myself to pass that exam. I failed probably like 1 or 2 times before I actually passed. It took me about 30 days to pass, and then 30 more days to pretty much get contracted with some companies. So.
Okay, that's exciting. I must say, I'm proud of you for your perseverance, because I can tell you the first time, I did my exam, I never studied for it back in my oldest son that you met is 34 now. He was like in middle school, 7th or 8th grade, I don't even remember. And I was like maybe like 22 years ago or something like that, 21 years ago. And the funny thing about it was, I I never studied for the thing. I didn't pass it either. And then when I got a job, working for General Financial in as a wholesaling and variable index and fixed annuities in Richmond, Virginia, they paid for that exam, and I passed it. Now I keep telling people it doesn't matter if you get a 70 or 100, as long as you pass it. And the important thing is that getting 100 doesn't mean you're going to be good, because something you're too meticulous. The thing about it is getting the grade. But I will tell you this: what the best decision I ever made is taking that job and going to see for my exam as well. And for a long time now, I've been an entrepreneur. But I'll tell you this: you said something that resonated with me. You said you paid for your exam yourself. I have had some mentees and some people I brought into my organization. I've paid for their licensing, and everyone that I've paid for did not come through. Because when you want something, you got to invest into it. You understand me? And so what I will do now, there's some people, I will tell them, if you want to do it and you get the license, then I will reimburse you that fee. Because it means because I'm not paying for it, because you got to put some skin in the game, right? So now that you got in and you've been with us with American Classic Agency, I mean, now you're part of our leadership team. Welcome on board. So proud of you, and I'm really excited about that. We'll be going to Vermont for the bill thing. I don't know if you found out you and I qualified as gold for we're going to Vermont at National Life meet the CEO up there in October. We'll be going up there for that. You'll get the information coming. We just found out yesterday in the meeting, I think, or last night or whenever it was. But congratulations on that. But let me tell you this. Right now, you are killing it in our industry. Who are you targeting and why insurance? Because people look at insurance as something you use or people can use that benefit when you die. Mm-hmm. You and I know a lot better than that. There's a lot of things we can do: generational wealth, income protection, legacy creation. We can talk about that. You chose insurance, and who is your target market right now? Who are you working with? And tell us about some of the businesses that you're doing right now. Anonymous.
Okay. So yeah, great question. So when it comes down to insurance, of course, it does take some type of intellectual time to focus on and to try to figure out and understand, especially if you weren't exposed to financial tools like a 401k, a IRA, a mutual fund, and most Americans just aren't, right? So when you're talking about insurance, and I figured out that this is a real tool. And the reason why I say it's a real tool is because it's a contract. Now, I've sold a lot of things, right? I've sold pretty much everything online, right? And these are things to where I have to hype up. These are products that I have to sit here and try to sell you on. These are products that I can possibly not guarantee, right? And I can't say the insurance is a guarantee, but it's a contract between you and someone else. And when you're in a situation to where that person and that company honors that contract, it makes sense. It is a business model that makes sense. You take pennies and you're able to buy dollars. I just don't see why this isn't a tool that's exposed as much to talk about building wealth. And the reason why I take it a little bit more serious than I do now is I figured out that this is the only way that a person can become wealthy without having to build a business, without having to be smart, without having to invest in all these different things. You could literally buy certain types of policies and people can become wealthy and pay off certain things, right? And on the higher side, when you're talking about what's my target market, of course, I'm looking at individuals that are not looking to, just die and pass the money on. Of course, we could take that as well, and that is important. But I would say about 95% of my clients, their main focus is to store money. As we know, there's several articles that were put out, especially with Forbes, that by 2053, the net worth is going to be zero for Black and Latinos, right? And that was something I was like, okay, that makes sense. So 2053, we're talking about at least 20% of the whole entire country will pretty much have a zero net worth. And the easiest asset to get into is insurance. Real estate is not easier to get into. Crypto is not easier to get into and grow. Stocks aren't easier to get into and grow, but insurance is. So we're able to pretty much weed out and cancel out that particular data by just making sure insurance is a priority and it's an asset. And it's also an asset that people can pretty much understand, that they can utilize, they can store money in, and pretty much earn interest off of their money.
It's so funny that you say that. I want to say welcome to Beth Amato, one of my clients in Florida. I think I might be down there pretty soon, Beth, for a training, so I might have to take you to lunch, you and your hubby. She's doing that. I see Peach Goodwill, another client, she's doing that. Avin Vasa. So people are listening. As a matter of fact, I can call people out. Delphina Lee Blanc lives in Canada. We can't help her. She's taking advice that we're giving and doing what she needs to do in Canada. It's so important that people understand that even if you did not born wealthy, you can create wealth using this platform. And some of the things that people don't understand, we get paid. People like today, I got a referral from one of my clients. I just wrote, Keon, a legacy program for a client who dropped like $100,000 into an infinite banking, and also, helping them with a rollover from a 401k. And actually, the Fidelity money has come through. We're waiting for another one to come through so we can get that issued for them for their 401k and protect it. But they gave me a referral today, and I called a referral, and we're talking right now. We have an appointment scheduled for tomorrow, and the young lady asked me, what's my fee? And I told her, you can't afford me. I tell her, you can't afford me. But what you can do is after I help you, you're going to tell a bunch of people. She's already talking to her sister in Chicago, in Illinois. So we can get to talk to them. So Keon, it's really important that people understand that what we do is not just, you know, I can tell you in the African American arena, and I've seen it with family and I've seen it with friends. They had chicken feed policies. $1,500, $3,000. But you know what? It's what they could. Back then, they were selling them or giving them what they could afford. Excuse me, not what they needed. And one very important component to what we do, like if you see, even on the scroll, we are trusted advisors. We don't sell insurance. What we do is we help people acquire what they need. And he just told you how to create wealth using this. And some of you are going to have to call him because you're not calling me. Some of you are too embarrassed to call me. And you're going to have to call him. By the end of the show, you'll find out all of his social media platforms. You can talk to him and he will help you. All right. And those of you who need my help will contact me as well. The important thing here with creating generational wealth, the wealthy is doing it. Walt Disney used this concept to create his theme parks. Ray Kroc, who started McDonald's, used this concept as well to build more stores back in the day when he started. Doris Christopher from the Pampered Chef used this concept as well and then became a millionaire, sold a business to Warren Buffett. J.C. Penney during the Great Depression used this concept. Every wealthy person, every senator and congressperson that you all see up there are using this concept. You are like Rockaflocka's using it. Keon is using it. I'm using it. You know what? My daughter, who's in grad school at Morehouse right now, is using it. We have undocumented people using it. You can do it as an undocumented. If you're here and you're legal, you're undocumented, but you pay taxes and you have a social security number and you have a job, we can help you. I just did one for a client. So the key here is making sure, folks, that you get in and help these people. Keon, you know what? We talk about sometimes in our business, it's like a bragging business because we try to tell people, I know you're looking to build your team and so am I. So just before I go to my next question, I watched a live that with Marvin Mitchell, and we'll talk about him in a minute. We'll get to him. And he asked you a question. I'm going to ask you the question because it's out there. It's on Instagram, so it's not private. I heard you say it. What is the most you've done in 1 month? Just for people to hear what it is that what we're doing here.
So on average, right now we do about $100,000 in business right now.
You all heard this, folks? The important thing here is helping families create generational wealth. We get paid handsomely for what we do. However, you guys can afford to pay us because we don't charge you. The important thing is that we are creating multi-million-dollar families, and we're creating legacies in our communities. All right, people that look like us, black and brown and minority people, because our Caucasian brothers and sisters are already doing it. So I just talked about Marvin Mitchell a little while ago. I mean, I know he's your mentor. You know, tell me a little bit about Marvin Mitchell and how he's influenced you in the industries as you go out throughout doing this.
Yeah. So when I got started in the insurance space, I was definitely asked to start doing this. 3 to 4 years before that, all I know is online business, right? I don't know how to sell door to door or anything like that, and most people were encouraging me to pretty much figure out how to build this business without building myself and building my brand. And I just didn't know how to do that, right? And Marvin Mitchell was the first person that I seen go out, and he wasn't afraid to put his face to the product. He owns a financial firm pretty much that's governing people in all 50 states. Right now, they do about $200 million in assets, newly assets every single year. And I mean, just an incredible person right now. He's been owning a financial firm for about 15 years consecutive, and it's pretty much taken over the whole entire country. If you probably see him in St. Louis, you probably see him in Atlanta, California. I have people that pretty much call me everywhere, all across the country, about Marvin Mitchell. And I mean, he's just pretty much incredible. He shows us how we're able to take our knowledge and pretty much expose it to people outside of social media, and figure out who is looking for what I want. Most people that are in this space, especially in the financial services space, they make it seem very boring, because they're trying to talk to people who don't want what they want, and want what they have. And from Marvin, he's taught that, like, you got to start focusing on people that want what you have, and not trying to convince people to just get it because they need it. Most people don't want what they need; they get what they want. And when you figure out
Right.
how to put that out there, you'll be able to go to another level.
Yeah, that's so funny. Like Marvin, I just hit him up the other day because I think over the weekend he had something in Atlanta, kind of like a pool party, networking kind of thing, and I just hit him up, tell him, look, everything's looking good. I told him next time I'm down there, I definitely want to, when they're having something, I want to get involved. Because one time I was on one of his lives and he brought me on. He's like, H, just tell the people, about what it is that we do. And for those of you, Marvin Mitchell official on Instagram. You can follow him on Instagram. He's on TikTok. He's on Facebook as well. And I'll put it in the chat tonight after the show as well. But also, you are on social media as well. You're on Instagram. You're on TikTok. You're putting these great videos out. I've always see you. I was talking to you yesterday. You was in Houston trying to get back to Atlanta. You're just moving. You're like a young mover and shaker, and I'm very impressed. So my question to you is, you chose financial services. Why? Why did you choose the financial services arena? To help people? I mean, why did you choose that arena, Keon?
So mainly, it's a product that is scalable, with or without me, right? And it's a product that can be sold, right? So of course, I'm building a business to pretty much create a legacy for my family, but be able to help other people build their families, right? So this is a business model that makes sense. Most business models that people are getting into that are my age, believe it or not, these business models are going to be played out within 5 years or less. Technology is going to outdo those business models, and most people, they're not going to be able to take advantage of it. I have the ability to take advantage of my industry and eventually sell my industry because I'm collecting data, because I'm actually selling a product that people want, that in most states, deemed as illegal if you don't have. And it's a real product that people are willing to pay for the rest of their lives, right? You're going to pay for car insurance for the rest of your life. You're going to pay for home insurance the rest of your life. You're going to pay
Correct.
for insurance and life insurance for the rest of your life. So fortunately, I do have, life insurance is one component of my business, but my whole entire model is insurance technology. And we pretty much offer all products, including health.
Wow, man, that's exciting. I'm so proud of you, with all the things that you're doing. I know that, in the ATL, you're killing it. You're doing all these wonderful things. But you know what? Let's bring it back home, because we're financial services professionals. That's what we do. Gosh, I've been in the industry about 39 years now. But the important thing is simply this: since 85, or 37 years, whatever that, if you can do the math. The point is this: there's three things that we tell people that we concentrate on. The first one is income protection. Why should people, there's a company out there that we use a lot, out there in Vermont, National Life Group. We talk about live too long, die too soon, become ill. Why is income protection valid for every American, or someone even with a social security number and a green card, or even, like I said, I just found that I did one for undocumented people who are paying taxes? Why is income protection very, very important? Because someone just hit me up and told me they're not watching tonight because they have to go feed the homeless somewhere. But they told me, oh, I got it on my job. Why is income protection so important, young man?
So 60% of Americans right now are living pretty much at a point to where they don't have over $1,000 in their bank account, and in your savings account. You have most people right now, they're in a situation to where their 401ks and their IRAs are going to be wiped out. Okay. So when it comes down to all of this, when you're making money, the main focus is to pretty much purchase assets. You have people that are literally working 40 rule, working 40 hours a week for 40 days, however the 40 rule works, right? They're pretty much working this whole entire time to pretty much be able to pass on debt to the generations, right? And it's unfair to leave your children with debt, right? You purchase this home, which is debt, and you never pay it off. You purchase this car, which is debt, you never pay it off. You purchase so much debt throughout this time frame. I know people right now that would rather pay $50,000 and take out loan for $50,000 to renew their wedding vows versus having a $50,000 insurance policy. And that debt is pretty much going to be passed on to their children. And income protection, what it does is it allows you to pretty much keep up with that debt. See, most people think that they're paying bills, but it's debt that you're paying, and you want to be able to pretty much pay that debt off if anything was to happen to you without having to be a burden on your children. And I've seen it firsthand. Most people are burdening on their children because they don't have enough income protection to make sure that their home is taken care of if anything was to happen to them, anything was to happen to their jobs. And when I say anything was to happen to you, I'm not just talking about death. I'm talking about heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, some of the things that are killing people to this day. Heart disease is the number one killer in America right now. You have people that are literally in situations to where they get into car accidents and they just can't drive anymore. And they can't go to work anymore, and their jobs are going to fire them. Look at COVID. Look at what COVID did to millions of Americans.
Yes, sir.
They're in situations to where, unfortunately, their employer says, "Hey, listen, you're not employable anymore." And you want to be able to make sure that you utilize these corporations, just like you utilize that corporation to acquire that debt. You can utilize that corporation to insure that debt as well, with pennies, literally pennies. So you have that $500,000 home; it takes pennies to cover it. You have that car; it takes pennies to cover it. So you just want to make sure that you're covering that debt with a concept that's utilizing insurance called income protection.
It's so funny that you said that. You know, our chief marketing officer at American Classic Agency, the company that cares, Mr. Douglas Anthony Aze, always says this. He says, your kids don't want your house, especially if they have their own house. If you die, what they're going to do is sell that bad boy. They want the money. So if that's what they want, why don't you create tax-free money for them, tax-favored money, if structured properly? I want to say good night to Miss Elizabeth Bardui, my cousin all day in Brooklyn, New York. I want to say hello to Miss Esther Duran Kazemi, all the way in St. Martin, in the Caribbean. And I believe you're on the Dutch side or the French side. I think the Dutch side. Welcome. And Miss Rosanna Massicott, welcome to the program all the way up there in New Jersey. Hope you're doing well. Our special guest this evening is Mr. Keon Edwards. He's pontificating on the values and the importance of making sure you leave legacies and making sure you create wealth and not debt. Because I say it all the time. You all talk about how you love your kids and your grandkids. I see it on social media. You're posting pictures, but what you're doing, you're buying them Nintendos and crap. I'm calling it crap because what it does, it has no value. And like he said, I know someone who used 35, 40,000 grand to go buy a car, a depreciating asset, cash. Well, one of the things we talked about was income protection, and then we talked about debt elimination. Now, it's very important that you guys understand. He just explained that to you. But Keon, again, please tell the people why, again, they need to eliminate debt, because debt is a financial cancer. And there's over $1 trillion of student loan debt in this country. There's the debt, the U.S. debt is 33 or 34 trillion dollars. Why is debt elimination, not consolidation? Because I talked to someone today and I told them we're going to eliminate your debt, not consolidate it. Why is debt elimination very important and paramount in every family today? Tell us.
Yeah, so when you pretty much think about it, certain institutions, they're in a situation to where they earn majority of their revenue and majority of their profit from interest, right? And when you're talking about interest, a lot of people they don't know the difference between what they're purchasing and what they're actually purchasing it for, right? So you may purchase a $30,000 vehicle, but in actuality, that vehicle is probably 50,000. And what allowed it to accumulate up to 50,000 over time is what we call interest. And when you're talking about that debt elimination, what happens is over time you will see that I'm not really paying what I said or what I thought I was going to be paying. You might purchase a home right now at a 6% interest rate for 500,000, and in 30 years, by the time you paid it off, you might look up and see that you paid back $1 million. And the reason for that is because you have that interest accumulating over time. Now, there's certain vehicles, there's certain concepts, there's certain institutions that you can utilize that says, how can we be in a situation where we refunnel that money? Refunneling money is a concept that's been utilized for a very long time, right? And when I say refunnel, that means that most people, they're in a situation where they get money and they spend it, right? So when you spend money, the last three letters of spend is in. So when you spend it, it now stops working for you. Now the ability for it stops working for you, and now the ability for it to work for somebody else, it goes. What you want to figure out is you want to think about it right now. All the money that's flown through your bank account over the last 5 to 10 years, how much of that money has made you money? You refund your money by doing this. You take that income that you're earning and you're able to take a certain portion of that income and put it into a collateralized account. That collateralized account is going to allow you to pretty much borrow from it and then purchase those different assets. Well, Keon, why would I do that? Throughout the whole entire time, you have certain interest that's eliminating the interest that you're pretty much paying the debtors, okay? So I'm going to say that again. You take that money that you're earning at your job, from your businesses, from whatever pretty much side hustle that you have, take a portion of that money and you fund it into a collateralized account. One of the main accounts that most people utilize is an insurance policy, particularly a whole life or index universal life policy. You store it into these accounts. You're able to borrow from these particular accounts, and you fund whatever income producing activity, whatever debt that you're collecting at that time. And throughout that time of you accumulating debt, you're going to be accumulating interest. But throughout the whole entire time, you're still earning interest through your policy, even though you utilize that money, which will be canceling out the interest over time. So even though you're paying back that $500,000 home loan or that $30,000 car loan, that is eventually going to turn to $1 million or $50,000 over time, you've gained an extra $500,000 into your policy or extra $20,000 into your policy. That's eliminated the interest that you're paying back. I hope that's a good explanation.
Man, that is you people. The man is dropping dimes. He's dropping gems, financial. And some of you just need to call him. You don't want to talk to me? Talk to him. So for those of you who don't want to talk to me, talk to him. He'll help you. I want to say welcome to Miss Contrite Heart, watching all the way from the British Caribbean Isle of Tortola. How are you? Hope you're doing well tonight. And all the others that I can't see, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest this evening is Mr. Keon Edwards, 23-year-old wonder kid doing great things in our business, killing it in our industry, dropping dimes and gems, and telling you what he's doing, what we're doing, and what you should be doing for your family as well. Last night, we had a training with our agency, American Classic Agency. Miss Gina Pryor was talking about she's not even talking to her clients anymore. She's talking to her clients' children's children. You hear what I said? Her clients' children's children. Because some of you have watched me for a while. If you're in a different country, I can't help you. But the concepts can be used in the country that you are, because there's people in different countries like Delphina LeBlanc who's watching in Canada, and some other people in other countries have called me, and I've given them some pointers what they can do in their country. I can't give them advice. I'm not licensed there. But for those of you, and you have family members here, back in the day, I used to tell you guys, like and share the live, I'm not even going to do that. If I have to tell you that, it's like a preacher. He says, can I get an amen? I ain't never asking you all for amens no more. You know, if it moves you, like and share it. This information is paramount. The man is dropping some dimes. We only have 11 minutes left. Listen, folks, Mr. Keon Edwards is killing it. I want to say hello to Miss Joan Isles all the way in Houston. H-Town, Mr. Edwards was in Houston last night. And to all the others who's tuning in that I can't see, I want to say welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Mr. Keon Edwards. As you can see, he's in the ATL. He's in Midtown. You could see that the sun is set down there. It was daylight when he came on. You can see his background. That's his literal background where he lives, in Midtown in the high rise over there. The most important thing is this, folks. If you have children, and one of you who are watching right now, I'm not going to say who it is, you ask me about your daughter who lives in the Midwest. I'm not going to tell you what state because I don't want to put your business out. She needs to watch this. She needs to call me. She don't want to talk to me? I'm too old? Talk to my business partner, Mr. Keon Edwards. We'll get it in for y'all. The important thing is this. Before we're out tonight, we will get you his information where you can follow him and how to get in contact with him. For those of you guys who want to reach out, he's a very busy man, but if you're doing business, he'll make the time for you. I am celebrating tonight my business partner, Mr. Keon Edwards. I'm so excited that he's decided to join us on this platform, taking some time out of his busy schedule to educate the people. Finally, we talked about income protection. We talked about debt elimination, legacy creation. I want to make it very clear, Keon. If I knew what I knew today when I was your age, we would not be doing Tuesdays with Terrence right now. I'd be somewhere on my yacht, chilling. When I was young, I was on the banking side. I said I had all these years, but I was doing banking. But this is where it's at. And for those of you who have, my daughter who's in grad school, I've told her over and over, I say, you continue doing what you've put in place. When you're my age, you can retire and get a tax-favored income if you want to. So legacy creation, the Bible says in Proverbs, a good man lives an inheritance for his children's children. You just turned 23 in July. You are killing it. Legacy creation. In your own words, tell our listeners tonight, why is legacy creation important? What is legacy creation? And what are you doing for your legacy?
Absolutely, yeah. So legacy creation, it's all relative, and some people they get it and some people won't. But there are certain people that have the ability to say, you know what, like something. It doesn't make sense for everybody in my family to have to struggle. It doesn't make sense for everybody that I know to not have extra money for extra things, right?
Say that again.
It doesn't
Amen.
make
Say that again,
for, for us to only get pretty much one vacation out the year, right? So you want to be able to understand, and most people say, oh, money isn't that important, right? But you spend majority of your life working on it, right? Working towards making money. So the ability for you to give that opportunity to somebody else is so important. It's so important because a lot of people think that you got to wake up every single day and go chase money. And that's just really not the reality of things. You have some people that are really chasing purpose and they utilize money to fund their purpose. They utilize money to fund what they're looking to do. Some of you all right now, you really love certain activities, but you can't afford those activities because nobody left a legacy for you. So I want you to pretty much think about it right now. Do you want your children to live in a world to where they understand that, hey, listen, my parents set me up in the right way. I want to set my children up in the right way. And it would be very selfish for you to sit here and say, well, I don't want to do that because I want my kids to do this and that. Because at the end of the day, you're not doing what your parents did exactly the way that they did it. So you want to figure out how can you make life a little bit easier. And that's the purpose of family and that's the purpose of legacy. It just so happens that the main topic is money, but legacy is a little bit more than just money.
Wow. You guys heard what the man said? He said, it would be selfish of you because your parents did not leave you anything. They didn't know. They did the best that they could with you. Now that you have this knowledge and this understanding that you're going to handicap your children. Let me tell you something. I don't watch TV much. I watch a lot of sports. The Housewife of Atlanta, I think it's called. I think that's filmed down there where you are, Keon. One of the ladies, she used to sing with, what was, what's his name? T.I.'s wife. They had a group back in the day. I can't remember the name of the group. But her daughter was doing an internship in New York, and she got an apartment that way was like $5,000 that she was paying for her daughter, right? Well, the lady makes over $1 million a year. I don't know if she make $1 million an episode, but what people don't understand is, well, let them learn their own, make their own. Nah, that's not what the wealthy do. They set it up and they pass it down. Generational wealth should be passed down. The Rockefellers will never go broke. For those of you in New York, Rockefeller Center, the Rockefellers will never go. The Waltons will never go broke. Bill Gates' kids will never go broke. Zuckerberg's kids, Jay-Z's kids, the Waltons from Walmart, and a whole bunch of other wealthy families in America, the Rothschilds and everybody else is doing. But you can do the same thing. You see, generational wealth for you may not be millions or billions, but it would be nice if I knew what I knew now when my parents died. My father died 3 years ago in Atlanta, and my mother died 10 years ago this year in Florida. And it would have been, I would have had $1 million policies on them, knowing what I knew if I was 20 and I knew what I knew today. And we can do the same thing. So Keon is saying to you guys, you know what? Don't be selfish. Create generational wealth for your children. Create it for you as well, and pass it down to generations. Like the Bible says, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And that's what we're talking about. Keon, man, the time is running. We got 4 minutes. If people want to get in touch with you on social media, man, how can they? I know you're on Facebook, but you don't really do Facebook because I send you a Facebook request. You ain't never answered it. It's okay. But you did on TikTok and Instagram. So tell us, what is your handle on Instagram?
Yeah, I would focus. If you're looking to reach out, definitely get yourself an Instagram. Go to ITSKEYLOCK. It's Keylock. Shoot me a DM. I'm usually able to shoot messages back. I try to respond. I promise I do.
Yes, you do.
But definitely, if you guys are looking to reach out, please, feel free to do that. And if you're looking for any type of content on this type of stuff, I have so much content out there. Definitely take advantage of it. And we're looking to build more content very soon. So.
That's awesome. And and after tonight, I'll put his stuff in the chat, and you guys can go back and look at it as well. I want to say welcome to Maria Miami at ACA, all the way in Jacksonville, Florida. Keon, she's checking on us, making sure we're doing the right thing. Maria Miami, in our licensing area down there in Jacksonville, Florida. I want to say hello to Mr. Patrick Freddie Bardui, my cousin, all the way in I don't know if you're the French side or the Dutch side of St. Martin. Keon, you got people watching from all over the world, man. Canada, the Caribbean, the U.S., Europe, England. They're watching all over, the British Isles. They're watching you as you pontificate. I'm going to give you a solo screen. You have 2 to 3 minutes to tell the masses, the people out there, why we do what we do and why is it important that they should start to reach out to you, reach out to us, reach out to people like us to start creating the wealth their family deserves. Tell them in your own words why. I'm going to give you a solo screen as you tell the people why it's important. Financial literacy and financial services is paramount in our lives.
Yeah. So I would, if you're in a space right now to where you're trying to figure out what you're missing, I would ask myself, how much am I worth, right? And that's a question that most people have no idea. Right? And they say, well, I don't know what my net worth is, right? And if you don't know what your net worth is and you've been living on this earth more than 20 years, we need to revisit, right? You want to have a conversation, right after this call. You want to have a simple conversation about how can I 10x my net worth in the next 30 days or less. That's what we want to think about. How can I 10x my net worth in the next 30 days or less? And you walk around different when you have over $1 million in assets. I promise you do. You walk around a little bit different when you know that you have a trust in place. You walk around different when you pretty much understand that you have money that's working for you. So as of today, August 15th, you can pretty much make that decision to say, you know what, I'm about to go on a financial journey. I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm willing to figure it out. And I'm pretty sure I'm willing to give my trust to someone, because they wouldn't take their time out of their day to talk about this if it wasn't necessary. All right. So that's my encouragement to you all. If you tune into this, definitely thank you all so much. I definitely honor each and every last one of you all, and I pray that many blessings of financial blessings and so many incredible things happening in your life. And Terrence, thank you again for having me on this amazing live. This is pretty dope, man. We
Man,
definitely have to do this again.
man, again, I'm going to beg you to come back on. I just want to say a quick hello before I make my closing remarks. Stay there. Mr. Robert Kennedy III, all the way in the DMV. Robert, I need to get you on Tuesdays with Terrence, man. So you come out here and pontificate to the masses on the stuff that you do as well. Even though what you do is not financial services, we should get you on Tuesdays with Terrence, Robert. So welcome, sir. Good to see you. Mr. Keon Edwards just told you guys why. He just told you, can you imagine if you have $1 million in assets? Think about it. We don't care if it's stuff that you own, cash value life insurance, a legacy for your children, cash free. We believe, Keon believes the same thing I believe. We believe that everybody should have at least $1 million of life insurance. $1 million, at least. We're not saying that's what you should have. Everybody watching tonight should have at least $1 million. That's what we believe. And what we're doing is we're making sure that we protect families and individuals. First of all, the guy is 22 years old. He drops $100,000 a month in business. All right. And he's telling you he's not doing it because he wants to be wealthy. He's doing it to help you, and that makes him wealthy. Listen to me, folks. My business partner is 22 years old in Atlanta. Some of you may even want to join what we do. Reach out to him, reach out to me. Like I said, I will put his Instagram in the chat after. You can go back and see it as well. And his TikTok. Follow him. Look at some of his videos. Look at some of the stuff that he's talking about. Listen, I tell you people all the time, you all go and you watch Oprah and Rick Ross and Jay-Z and Beyonce, and nothing is wrong with those people. But I know personally Keon Edwards. All right? If you send a DM to Jay-Z, he's not going to respond. Mark Zuckerberg is not going to respond to you. All right? He will. We will. The important thing is not about where you are. The important thing is where you want to go. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. And some people call me Luku Boy. That's little boy, going all the way back to the 767. Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Tall is her body. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. For those of you, I'm not going to ask you to like and share. You get to do that tonight if you choose. If what we talked about was impactful and insightful for you, all of you who have children should be following him. Some of you, you got grandkids his age, should be following him. You know what? To motivate you. Because I'm too old for some of you guys, right? I'm not cool enough. But he got the coolness. He got the youth. He does the things that he does that I don't do. But guess what? We're one in purpose, making sure we empower our people so that financial independence, financial literacy is paramount in all of our homes. Again, the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. Keon, stay on this show for 1 second. I'm going to go on solo for a moment. Just stay on, mute yourself for a moment. And folks, let me tell you something. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to reach out to him. All right? I'll put his stuff in the messages right after the show. I'm going to talk to him for a couple of minutes because he has to run. But I want to tell you guys, you don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have $1 million to be on my show. But tonight I had a superstar, Mr. Keon Edwards, killing it. You see where he lives? You see the background? I want to be there. Like Maynard says, you don't have to be a star to be on my show. Good night, everybody. God bless you. I love you. One love. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I love you. I love you. Follow Mr. Keon Edwards. Yes.
Family, come as you are with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, you're worth much more than you put in.
I don't need the superstars, but I got one tonight.
Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich, family, to be on my show. You don't have to have a million, family, to be on my show.
Boom. You heard what Maida said? You don't have to have a million. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. We had a superstar tonight, and he's killing it in our industry. Guess what? You want to join his team? Hit him up. You want to join my team? Hit me up. We're business partners, and what we do is we help middle American families create generational wealth. We don't want to be like what our parents or our grandparents did, because they did the best that they could. Let's change. Let's have a paradigm shift. All right? Let's create $1 million legacies. And I think we can. Have a good night. God bless you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you he's a very intelligent young man. That's correct, Miss Rosanna Massacard. Very intelligent. And let me tell you guys, your kids need to follow him. I've told my kids to follow him. If they ain't following him and they ain't watching him, that's on them, because I told them. All right? And I follow him. And I take tips from him as well. Good night, folks. It's 9 o'clock. Get your rest. Peace. I'm out.